You earn more than ever. You invest. You save. You hustle. But deep down, you wonder, why does money still control me? Why does your heart race during a market crash? Why does someone else's success make you feel behind? Now picture this. A Roman emperor sits across from you, dressed not in gold, but in a plain cloak. He controls the most powerful empire on earth, yet he writes in private. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. That emperor was Marcus Aurelius. And today, he's going to help you fix your relationship with money. In a world driven by consumption, it's easy to mistake wealth for freedom. But Marcus would argue the opposite. He saw luxury not as a sign of success, but of spiritual danger. He watched emperors become slaves to their pleasures. He watched senators chase opulence, only to be consumed by anxiety. The Stoic doesn't see money as evil, but he sees obsession with it as a kind of self-imposed exile. Modern finance doesn't warn you about this. It teaches accumulation, not philosophy. You're taught to chase compound interest, but not inner peace. You build portfolios, but neglect your mind. Marcus believed that freedom wasn't found in how much you owned, but in how little you needed. And when you internalize that, every dollar stops being a chain and becomes a tool. What if your net worth was no longer your identity? Markets rise, markets fall. A deal comes through. A client vanishes. One moment you're ahead, the next you're scrambling. Marcus Aurelius faced storms far worse than a red stock ticker, plagues, wars, betrayal. And yet his journal never obsesses over outcomes. He obsesses over character. The Stoic understands that you don't control what happens, only how you respond. So in money matters, the lesson is simple. Detach from what is not yours to command. You can control your effort, your discipline, your values. You can't control inflation, recession, or market sentiment, and trying to will only lead to panic. Real wealth is emotional resilience in the face of loss. That's what Marcus cultivated. That's what Stoic finance is really about. If your portfolio vanished tomorrow, would your peace of mind vanish with it? Most people think minimalism is about decluttering, but Marcus would laugh at that definition. To him, minimalism was a form of spiritual sovereignty. He lived in palaces, ate off silver, but none of it owned him. He constantly reminded himself that luxury is fragile, that peace doesn't come from marble floors or imported wine. You can enjoy comfort, but the moment you need it to feel whole, you've been conquered. Today, we buy things to prove we've made it. But the Stoic doesn't need symbols to validate their worth. They ask, if it all disappeared, who would I be? Owning less is not about aesthetics. It's about power. The power to walk away, to say no, to not be dazzled by what dazzles the crowd. Because in Stoic finance, the goal isn't to live like a king, it's to live like a free man. Imagine Marcus Aurelius opening a brokerage account. What would he do? He wouldn't gamble. He wouldn't chase meme stocks. He wouldn't check the price 10 times a day and call it strategy. He'd focus on what endures. For Marcus, everything was judged by one question: does this align with nature? The Stoic investor doesn't seek excitement. They seek stability, simplicity, long-term value. They don't get swept up in bubbles or trends. They remember that euphoria is just fear in disguise. Marcus would tell you to invest in what you understand. to accept volatility without losing your center, and most of all, to remember that money grows best when it's not the center of your world. What if your investment plan wasn't just profitable, but virtuous? We say we want wealth, but often what we really want is status, recognition, approval, the applause of others disguised as financial goals. Marcus faced this temptation daily. As emperor, he could have chased fame, comfort, indulgence, but he wrote about self-sufficiency, about living by inner standards, not public applause. He reminds us that the desire to impress is a silent prison. The Stoic doesn't reject status because it's evil. He rejects it because it makes you needy. If your self-worth is tethered to what others think of your success, you'll never stop running. One raise won't be enough. One car won't be enough. One milestone just births another craving. Marcus practiced internal audit. Not net worth, but moral worth. Not cash flow, but integrity. What if the richest person is the one who feels no need to prove it? Marcus Aurelius ruled the known world. But when we read his meditations, we don't hear a man obsessed with power or wealth. We hear a man wrestling with detachment, with humility, with the fear of losing himself in the noise. And isn't that what we fear too? You don't need to reject money to practice Stoic finance, but you do need to remember money is a servant, not a master. It can buy things, but it cannot buy virtue, focus, or peace. So the next time you check your bank balance, ask not, how much do I have, but how much do I need? Because true wealth, as Marcus would say, is the ability to walk through chaos and remain undisturbed.